Hello guys, welcome to the very first episode of a brand new series, How to Build a Brand. In this series, I'll be giving you guys tips and the knowledge I've gained from the past 2 years of owning my own Instagram clothing brand. A little bit of an introduction about myself. I'm Curtis, I'm 20 years old and I'm currently an economics student. When I first started CJP, I was an 18-year-old working at a care home as a kitchen assistant. I must have started the brand on around £20, $25, not a lot of money. I started off with 3 t-shirts. And in 2 years, it's grown into an Instagram brand that has over 37,000 followers and has sold in over 50 countries. When I first started to create a brand, I was looking for videos on how to create one and how to build one, but a lot of the time, it was people trying to sell workshops for like £500, thousands of pounds, and there wasn't anyone that gave that information for free. The whole idea of the project is to tell you guys how to build a brand, whilst alongside this, I'm going to be creating my own brand, following my steps and showing you guys how it's done. I don't proclaim to be an expert or know everything about social media and how to run a brand. I'm just here to give you as much knowledge and tips as I can possibly give. And I will make a few mistakes in these videos, and I hope that you guys down below will comment how I went wrong and to build some sort of community from that, because we're all in the same journey, we're all trying to build something great. So a bit of support and love. Thank you very much. But before we even start of thinking about creating our own brand, it's good to know what a brand is. I look at a brand as the DNA of a brand, the DNA of a business. That's what I think a brand is. Everything you do in your business, from how you ship your products, how you pack your products, to how you set up your website, what your Instagram bio is, every single part of that is your brand in a sense. So your brand is the personality of your business. Now, before we get on to a brand name and a brand logo, you're gonna need 2 things. The first thing you're gonna need is you're gonna have to know what product you're selling, and the second thing is you're gonna need to know who you're selling the products to. Who you're selling the products to may seem like an easy question, but there's a few ways to go about this. You wanna niche yourself in some sense, so you don't wanna just create a product entirely for men or teenagers, because there's so many different people in them different markets with so many different needs and aspects that you wouldn't be able to create a product that will be able to please everyone. The second thing is to make sure you don't niche too hard. You don't want your product to be, say you're creating a basketball clothing brand. You don't want your product to be a basketball brand aimed at Laker fans that are females and are into CrossFit. You don't want that type of brand. You don't want to pigeonhole yourself into one type of target market. So once you know the product you're selling and who you're selling to, you can start thinking about a brand name. Now, a brand name is one of the most important things you're going to do whilst creating a business. In a sense, it's like naming a baby, because once you name the business, it's very hard to change it, and if you do, you'll unwind all the branding you've already done. So it's a very important decision. Now, there's many factors to consider when creating a name. I'm going to start off with the most important one, and it's the first one, is copyright. You can't create a brand that already has an established brand name, so you can't create a brand called Nike or Adidas or anything like that. It's obvious. But for some brand names, it might not be as obvious. So if you go to the gov.uk website, you can actually search copyrights. So you can search if anyone has registered a business in that name. That's one part of it, but the second part is because a lot of these businesses will be small and won't actually be registered as a business yet. It's better off to search Facebook, to search Instagram for your brand name to see if anyone else has already thought of the idea. Another factor is emotion. So when someone says the brand name, do they feel some sort of way? Does it make them react a certain way? So for some names, the branding comes after the actual name. So look at brands like Gucci and Dior. When you hear them names, you just automatically think luxury and high class. I feel like there's 2 types of people watching this video. There's people that have already got a brand name and it's established in their mind, and there's people watching this video that I've completely no idea what I'm doing. I can't think of a brand name whatsoever. It's okay if you're the second, because there's a few ways to come up with a brand name. You can just write, what I done for the example brand is write 100 words relating to the brand that you're building, and then Googling any of the words on the list and writing suggested words and picking off that and just mixing and matching them words could be a good way to create a brand name. But overall, I think a brand name isn't the most important thing about a brand, and it's a lot more about how you brand yourself after. So don't overthink about this step. I just think the number one thing to think of when you're creating a brand name is, if you tell your friend, do they remember it in 2 minutes? That's a good way to test if a brand name is stuck with anyone. Once you come up with a brand name, you can start thinking about a brand logo. A brand logo itself is a very important thing for the business, as it's the first visual thing that people would see, and you'd use it on all sort of social media accounts, any letters, emails, everything will use your brand logo. So it's important to make sure you have a nice, clean logo that shows off what your brand is about. There's many ways to go about creating a logo. I know a lot of people that are more better drawers than they are graphic designers, so they've wrote it down on a bit of paper, sketched what they want their logo to be, and then gone to a graphic designer and said, look, this is how I want my logo, could you do that? But I know a lot of you watching this video won't have the links for a graphic designer, so if you're in that position, there's a website called Fiverr, which you can hire a graphic designer from as low as £3, something like that, a graphic designer to do the brand logo for you. One thing I would recommend though is eventually learning how to use Photoshop if you don't already. Photoshop will save you for a lot of things if you want to become much more of a solo project. If not, then you're going to need to rely on a lot of people to sort out any sort of graphic design for your brand. So learning Photoshop or any alternative program, Adobe, Illustrator, anything like that is an important thing. There's 60% discount if you're a student, so there's that if you're creating a brand whilst alongside doing education. There's also websites itself that have templates and you can switch around the graphics and put your name and logo onto a graphic, and it's reasonably priced. I'll link that in the description there, one of the websites. If you're going to go the graphic designer route yourself and download Photoshop, Illustrator, I think a very, very good website is a free font website just to boost your graphic design. Make sure you pick a font with free for commercial use, as you won't be able to get sued for using it. And there you have it. I think that a brand logo is much more of a personal, there's not a brand name and brand logo are not as formulaic as Facebook advertising. It's a lot more creative and about you yourself and what you want the brand to be. There's not a video you can watch that will help you master it, but I hope I gave you a few ideas about how to create a brand logo and what you need for a brand name. So that's the first steps done of how to build a brand. First episode is simply just a brand name and brand logo. I hope I've gone in depth enough for someone to think about their own brand name or brand logo. Obviously, I'm going to be creating my own brand in the process while doing these videos. So here's my results. To come up with a name, I've done one of the steps I said before. I wrote hundreds and hundreds of adjectives and verbs related to jewelry, as I'm creating a jewelry brand for this series. And it wasn't any of them words I come up with, however, it did get me thinking about a lot of things. And the word I actually come up with for my brand is Enrico. So how I got to that stage, well, my granddad's name's Harry, and then Harry and Henry. So an Italian variation of Henry is Enrico. So that's simple. I like the name Enrico as it conveys a sort of luxury feeling. That's the types of vibe I'm going to go with for the jewelry, Enrico. And also I followed the steps with Photoshop. I just downloaded a free font, played around with the background, and obviously this is the first episode, so it may be a bit boring compared to the rest. You may not learn as much as you normally would have from the other videos, and I may be a bit nervous recording this video as it's the first YouTube video I've ever done. But I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. And if you're still watching right now, comment down below what you want your brand name to be, or what your brand already is called, and you'll be entered into the giveaway for the first bit of Enrico jewelry that will come about. So be sure to comment, and if you don't want to give away your brand name, just comment anything. Comment down below, and see you next video.